What's good, peeps? Otto here, checking in, Sniper Fitness, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the keto diet. Okay, so what is keto? Also known as ketogenic. Basically, in a nutshell, if you look at your normal diets out there, basically to lose weight you just need to do one thing: be in a caloric deficit. Once you can do that, you're going to lose weight regardless. Now, the difference between being on a fad diet and the ketogenic diet is basically when your body uses body fat, as in triglycerides, for energy, whereas your body normally uses glycogen, which is carbohydrates converted into glucose, which is then stored as glycogen. Now, here's the thing. The good thing about the keto diet is it changes the way you feel. If you've been on keto before, you probably noticed the effects mentally. All of a sudden, you're feeling a lot more aware. Your level of consciousness has increased, and you're just feeling sharp. That could be a good thing, but in terms of the long run, might not be so much. Because another challenge is when you're on keto, obviously when it comes to the ratios of your macronutrients, they completely change. All of a sudden, your carbohydrates are now down to about, say, 5% or 30 grams per day. And then obviously majority of your macros on keto comes from fat, and then the rest is from protein. Okay, so another thing you need to be aware of when you're in keto is because the glycogen stores are depleted, right? And which basically means that the carbohydrates that you used to have has now decreased. That is actually going to have an effect on protein synthesis, which is when your body needs this fuel to not only perform but also to build muscle. So if your goal is to build lean muscle mass in the gym and you're trying to create that physique, you're probably going to struggle if you're on keto. And the reason why is because it's a different type of energy. It's put it this way: you've gone from using glycogen for energy to now using body fat, your triglycerides, for fuel. It'll be like using a different fuel for your car. Obviously, if you use unleaded, it's going to perform a certain way, and if you use premium, it's going to perform better. So think about that one if you're deciding to give keto a go. And also on that note, when it comes to performance, so if you're an athlete or in terms of your training, you need to be explosive. That requires quick energy, like instant, and that's when glucose comes in handy. Now, when there's a bit of a delay in your body in being able to deliver that energy source right away, when you're in keto, it's not as readily available to you to perform that movement in terms of explosiveness. So an example would be high intensity interval training. If you're on keto and you're doing some form of HIIT training or boxing, kickboxing, something that requires explosive energy, you're probably not going to perform at that level if you had carbohydrates in your diet. So another one to think about. Again, if you've been following me for a while, you would know that I'm all about sustainability. You know, you should always try and do something that is sustainable, because what's the point in doing something for the short term and missing out on the long-term gain? You know, because that's what life's about, longevity. Now, when your body is transitioning over to ketosis, there's this thing called the keto flu, which basically is your body adapting to getting its energy source from your body fat, triglycerides. And some of the symptoms that you can go through is headaches, stomach pain, and nausea and just feeling kind of just run down. Now, if you can make it through that part, then your body will transition. But again, it comes down to, is this sustainable in the long run? And for a majority of the people out there, when they get to this stage, they stop, they give up, and then they revert back to whatever it was they were doing beforehand. So, on that note, is keto worth it? Again, if you've been following me for a while, you always have to ask yourself, whenever you begin something, is this sustainable? Does it work in with my lifestyle? Okay, because you got to remember, not every one of us can live without carbohydrates. And the thing is, carbohydrates are not the enemy. Overeating is. Hopefully you found value in this video. If you have, make sure you give it a like, a comment, and a share, and I'll see you in the next video.